I pulled my hamstring a few days ago sprinting, so I'm gonna try these snatches out. I'm just gonna power everything from the hang, lower the intensity a little bit that way, but I should be able to snatch. I did some light deadlifts yesterday to kind of start the rehab process with it. The pull's not that bad. It's definitely a grade 1, but it was bad enough for me to stop sprinting and to just take the rest of the day off when it happened. But I should be back to normal in like a week. So I'll take these snatches 1 rep at a time, probably start light. Yeah, like I said, power everything, go from the hang with everything. They just got upper body today, some overhead press, some dips, some chins. So just an upper body day. Go 100 next. I might start hitting doubles here unless 2 reps feel really good, so I can go for a third, but I might start hitting doubles here. Will, what are your thoughts on using concentric only partials on a deload week? I think it's fine to do. Deload weeks are meant to be lighter in intensity, lighter in volume, lighter in overall workload, and concentric only partials, assuming that the weight isn't like close to your max, is probably going to accomplish that. So the thing about, like, I'm not a huge fan of deloads unless you absolutely need it, so I wouldn't like program pre-plan deloads, but if you are going to do some sort of a deload week or deload 3 to 4 days, then using concentric only partials seems like it would be an appropriate means of training. So I'm not opposed to it at all. I hear concentric only partials, I'm thinking of like an Anderson squat, but the thing with like Anderson squats is it's meant to be heavier than a weight that you would normally use for a full range of motion squat. But yeah, if the point of a deload is to kind of lighten the load and lighten the range of motion just to make the training less stressful so that you can participate in your sport with a greater performance level, then doing an Anderson squat with like 75%, 80% of what you would normally do an Anderson squat with seems fine to me. The thing is, it's not gonna like induce that much adaptation, but if you know that going into it, I think that's fine. Should have stood up with that 3rd rep. Will, how do you pick the total reps for your monster sets? Assuming you mean the giant sets. I mean, I usually pick anywhere between like 12 reps on the lower end, 25 to 30 reps on the higher end. It's going to depend on the exercise. Something like a pen lay row, I'll probably do more reps compared to something like a back squat. But it is arbitrary. I'll just be transparent about that. It is arbitrary, but I also think about the effective reps model as a way to kind of frame it and use that as the foundation for choosing the reps, because I don't want to use reps that are so heavy that I can only get like 4 or 5 good. Then I would just do singles if I was only going to do like 4 to 5 reps, or I would do a couple of doubles. So doing a giant set with that low of total reps doesn't seem super efficient to me. I guess I wouldn't do it that way, but at the same time I wouldn't want to choose something like 50 reps. I mean, pull-ups I'll probably go in like the 30 to 35, 40 rep range. Just depends on the exercise. It is arbitrary, but typically 10 to 25, 30 is a good range. And then you just got to use the appropriate weight so that you are getting the appropriate amount of reps per set, and you're breaking it up so that each set is stimulative. 105 here. When that bar is at the top of my kneecap and I reverse the motion for the concentric portion of this lift, I can really feel that hamstring kind of tighten up on me. It's kind of tender a little bit. There's no bruising though. I mean, you probably can't see in the video, but there's no bruising. It's really not that bad. It's just really tight on me. I'm a little wary about how toes are compressed together in almost all lifting shoes. Does this affect anything in reality, or is this just movement culture paranoia? I would say that's movement culture paranoia. You're not gonna be wearing your lifting shoes all day. So if you're wearing them for an hour a day, probably less than an hour a day, because in this, I mean, I don't wear these when I do a lot of upper body stuff, but yeah, if let's just say you're wearing them for an hour a day for 5 days a week, that's 5 hours out of how many hours are in a week? 160 or something? I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's not that much. You're gonna be barefoot a lot of the times. Any sort of like compression on your toes induced by lifting shoes is gonna be negligible. So I wouldn't worry about it. Definitely my last set here. Gonna just hit a double, maybe a single if it doesn't feel very good, but got to make it crisp. Not very good. Let's go overhead press. Do you have any strength standards for the Olympic lifts and any other standards? Mile time, 10-yard fly, broad jump. I think I might have covered this in my strength standards videos. Olympic lifts, I would say a 275, 130 kilo clean. They're basically equivalent. A 185, 90 kilo snatch or something like that for most people. The Olympic lift is so hard to have standards for because it's so technically demanding. Mile time at a bare minimum, 8 minutes. I think if you're like a healthy male, you should be in that 6.5 minute kind of range there. And then 10-yard fly. I don't know. I'm going to do Angus Bradley's GPP combine thing. I'm going to see what all my stats are. I'll probably do that throughout 2 to 3 days, just over the course of a week. I'll probably put it up on Instagram, probably put it up on YouTube. I'll tag them in it. And then I'll just kind of compare myself to others and just kind of see what the averages are. With that. If you're not aware what the GPP, Angus Bradley GPP combine is, check it out. But it's like a mile time, a 10-yard fly, back squat, bench press, power clean, I think. I don't know if it's a power clean or a clean, but it's those five things, maybe a vertical jump too. Just go check that out to see what it is. But I'll do that, kind of see what the averages are for most people around my age. Will, I cannot drop weights in my room. Is it still a good idea to do the clean with load I don't have to drop, which would be pretty light then? It's a tough question to answer. Probably, I guess if you're not competing in Olympic lifts and you only have access to really light loads, I don't know. If you can come up with different ways to do them to make it harder with the weights that you have, like a single leg clean, I've done that before. You could do like a no contact clean, you could do a no foot clean. You can come up with ways to make it harder with the lighter weights. So yeah, sure, I'm gonna say yes to that. That one was better, I'll go up. Hey Will, any advice on dealing with a bad athletic training staff? A basketball player tore their ACL over the summer playing pickup. We don't see them from May through August. The athletic trainer, of course, blames it on the strength program / lack of banded clamshells, etc. Should I go to our athletic director? I can't be bothered to constantly answer to her about my programs anymore. I have no advice. My advice is to just seethe. I don't know what your hierarchy looks like in your athletic department, but my guess is that you're an inferior to the athletic trainer. She has superiority over you. You probably report to her. You also probably report to a lot of other people, but she always has the veto power on anything you do training wise. I've had some good athletic training staffs that I worked with. I've had some really bad athletic training staffs that I've worked with. Jimmy, David, if you guys ever see this, you guys were awesome. I'm not talking about you. But there's really, like, your hands are tied in a lot of those situations. And that's a huge part of the problem within athletic programs. The way it's structured between strength and conditioning, athletic training, sport coaches, chiros, PTs, all of that. I really don't have any advice. Just seethe, man. You're not going to want to, you don't want to go into the AT's office and try to justify everything you're doing and then get into some sort of battle with them. I've done that before. It really isn't worth your time, because it just isn't worth your time. I don't know. I don't want to get into it right now, but my advice is just to just seethe. I'm kind of black-pilled on the subject, honestly, and that's part of the reason I got out a little bit. Not entirely, but part of it is. I don't want to deal with that type of shit anymore. So I totally understand where you're coming from. It sucks, it really does. I don't have any sort of solutions for it. I don't think anyone has solutions for it. You'll see a lot of people on podcasts talk about how we can fix that kind of stuff, but they don't have any solutions. A lot of that is just virtue signaling bullshit, honestly. All right, last set here, 241 and a half. Good set. All right, I got 2 hard sets of 12 on the dips here. I just did 1 warm-up set at body weight. I'm just arbitrarily selecting this weight, 45 and a 25. I don't know if it's gonna be too hard, too easy, or what, but that's what I chose. Little light, but I'm gonna stay here. I'm too lazy to change weights. Set 2. All right, so last thing of the day, I got pull-ups here. I'm gonna do myo reps. For those who don't know what myo reps, it's 1 AMRAP set, but you stop yourself 1 or 2 reps shy of failure. Then you rest like 15 to 30 seconds, kind of just catch your breath really quickly. And then you do sets of 3 to 5 and just do subsequent sets of 3 to 5 until you can no longer get yet that set of 3 to 5 reps. So great way to finish training sessions. I like it a lot. Here we go.
Nine reps there.
3. Whew. 3 sets. I'll try for 1 more. I don't know if I'll get it. Fuck. Yep, I got three sets of 3 and then a set of 2. That's all I got for the session, guys. Appreciate you watching.